Florida Republican Congressman, member of the House Armed Services Committee, Michael Waltz, and Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. For those of you not familiar with Florida geography, Volusia County is where Daytona Beach is. Sheriff, we'll start with you. This would normally be the busiest time for the Florida economy. Easter weekend, spring break, you'd have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands on the beaches there. There'd been some controversy about whether or not Florida was locked down soon enough. Do you feel as though there's enough people now heeding these warnings that you have a way to keep people from getting this virus?
Yeah, I think the governor has done an outstanding job. You know, he's straddling that line between reality and practicality. 85% of the folks are following what needs to be done. But like anything else, you got 15% of the knuckleheads out there that don't think this is serious.
Well, that is perhaps where the Sheriff's Department comes in. We'll get to that in a minute. Congressman, to you, on that issue of messaging, we had that Fox News poll at the beginning of the show that Jillian talked about, that there's still 25% of Americans who aren't concerned about getting the coronavirus. Is the messaging being done in a way from the federal government that people are understanding, or does more need to be done?
Yeah, I think so, Leland. I think what that poll reflects is that people in, say, Wyoming or Montana are having a very different experience than in Manhattan or Baltimore or Boston. And for Florida's economy and Florida's experience, the very rural panhandle, and even in North Florida, where the sheriff and I are and where I represent, is having a very different experience than Broward County, Miami Beach, and South Florida. And I think that's why you've seen the president and you've seen the governor looking at local officials in many cases to make those more nuanced decisions, because we're walking a very fine line between the public health piece, which absolutely should be the priority, but there is massive collateral damage happening to our economy. In fact, Disney just announced yesterday they're going to lay off another 43,000 workers. That is a very difficult line to straddle, and I'm looking forward to this task force the president is going to announce in reopening the economy.
It's a great point in terms of local control, local decision-making for local problems. Bring the sheriff back in. We know that you've been making pizza deliveries around much of Volusia County, and what I'm interested in, Sheriff, is how badly the economy is being hurt there and what locally is being done to help folks out who obviously have had their businesses destroyed, their livelihoods destroyed during the busiest time of the year for them, which is spring break.
Unfortunately, we're seeing businesses close, and we don't think that they're going to reopen. I believe that public safety and the economy are both interdependent on one another. If you have a good economy, then you have good law enforcement with well-paid folks and great technology. If you have a poor economy, you're not going to have good law enforcement. So we're interconnected. So what I tried to do was focus on some of the restaurants and just say, hey, the sheriff will deliver your pizza. The sheriff will be out there for curbside service to try to get people to realize the economy is open. These folks are the backbone of our county. We cannot have them collapse.
I could just see the surprise on the faces of the folks when the sheriff showed up to deliver their pizzas. Real quick, Sheriff, I wanted to bring you in on this, and this is WFTV reporting, which is the ABC affiliate in Orlando, a fine station. And I don't just say that because I used to work there and learn most of what I know about reporting from there in the beginning. More than 34,000 calls were placed into a hotline for vulnerable populations and at-risk children over the first 4 weeks of March, 26,000 calls in February. Are you seeing an increase yet? And I know you're worried about it, but has the increase come in domestic violence and other issues because of this lockdown and economic damage?
Actually, domestic violence, we're a little bit down compared to last year. Okay. But what we're seeing is a little bit of an uptick on auto theft, larceny car break, juvenile crime, and of course the drug dealers. We just did a big operation for street level sales. We just locked up 36 people for the sale of heroin and cocaine. And it was interesting that they're wearing rubber gloves and face masks when they're peddling this poison on our streets.
Well, social distancing messaging has gotten to them at least. Congressman, we'll end with you real quickly. Where do you see this next coronavirus relief bill in terms of what's happening on Capitol Hill? So many small businesses say they need more money, but that's blocked right now.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, and that's politics at its worst. I want to see, and we're hoping to see, a skinny bill, $250 billion more for the Paycheck Protection Program to help these small businesses where the bottom is just falling out of their business and out of their lives. And there is no reason we can't get that through in the next few days. And I just want to say to the sheriff and his deputies, God bless you. We're with you. To our first responders, healthcare workers, and all of our National Guards men and women, I'm still serving in the Guard, that are out on these front lines. We have over 190,000 military members overseas right now as we speak that can't be with their families in these tough times and on this Easter, and I salute all of them.
Important to remember. We thank both of you, and perhaps a reminder that there was a time in Washington where $250 billion was not so skinny. Now it seems to be the least number we're talking about. Gentlemen, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Happy Easter.